We're going to move slightly in a slightly different direction, of course, very clearly still relevant, from somebody with a background as a lawyer who's been involved in fundraising and fund giving to somebody with a background as an investor and charitable giving. Philippe Weil, PJ Weil, is the owner of a family office specializing in the transgenerational transfer of wealth. He's been a banker for J.P. Morgan, for the Republican Bank of New York, or of America, the United States, as well as here the Union Bank of Israel. He is the consummate Swiss banker, dividing his time between Switzerland and Israel, and now living in Israel for a number of years. He hails from Zurich, and from his family, he was brought up to appreciate, as he puts it, that a person of wealth has a responsibility to use it wisely and compassionately. PJ, glad to have you with us, and please come share your thoughts.
Thank you all. I like they call me PJ. I'm usually called Philippe, but here they call me PJ, which is okay. Reminds me of JP Morgan. An impressive donor also. I think I would like to follow up my previous speakers. I had the privilege to meet Charles and Lynn Schusterman when actually Birthright was started. So I'm most thankful to them. But what you said is very important. I always tell the families I work with as a multifamily office, I always tell them, when you talk to your children, to the next generation, you don't want them to remember you only in dollars and cents. You want to give to your children values. You want to give a legacy. You want to continue the lineage of your family. You want to have a story in it, not only dollars and cents. And it's the same here, the other way around. I don't want to be seen by you only by dollars and cents. I'm a person. I'm representing a family. I'm representing a donor, an investor. We are not dollar signs. And this was I was taught at home. My parents, my grandparents, we were always active in the community. We might have had a little money or a little bit more money. It was not important how much money we had. It was important because we were part of a little Jewish community that you were involved. My grandfather was the president of the community. My father was the president of Kernai Sot, and I followed him. My mother was in the Chevrat Nashim, in charge of the kindergarten. My grandmother founded a Jewish Aliyah village, Youth Aliyah village. I think I can't remember any family member who was not active in any charitable organization, in any klal work, how we called it back then. But then what happened with the money? We just wrote checks. You knocked on our door. We couldn't say no, so we write a check. But there was no passion in it, because we wrote checks to everyone, because the mantra was we don't say no. Everyone asking for money needs it more than we need it, so we give. But we gave $500 here, $500 there. Eventually, we fell in love with certain projects, and we started being passionate. The moment you're passionate, you're either in the board, or you actually move the cause on and give more and more. Today, we are focused, strategic givers. The family has two main goals which were important for my parents' generation, which are the recipients of the money. But we are still community leaders, and we are still involved and still thinking. And I'm living in Israel now for 16 years, and I'm feeling sometimes as an investor, or representing also my clients, which are families of wealth. I usually manage their money, but sometimes they also consult with me on charities. Just while we are here, there's a group in Tel Aviv going to a few charities that I advise them on. We are confused. There are 30,000 Amutot in Israel. If I have a donor coming from France and he says, I would like to give $100,000 for poor people in Israel, how should I do that? Who is the Amuta which is helping the poor people exactly? Okay, so let's say you want to give them food or education. So they say we want to give food. Okay, food for the poor, how many organizations? I think it's about 3,000. Okay, so which one should we go? The one which is doing it geographically, I do only this neighborhood in that neighborhood and do, or we do for children and we don't do for adults, or we do it because we actually know a few poor people, or we do it because our shul decided that it's important that our synagogue is doing something nice and let's give out some food. Guys, get organized. It's paralyzing. You come as a donor and you say like, I don't know. Now, is there some rating system? I mean, in the stock market, we have AAA, AA, single A's, no, don't we? They don't work, but we have a rating system. How can a donor, how can an investor be sure and certain that his dollar arrives at the end user? I haven't found a tool yet. So I can give to Keren Sot, I give the Jewish Agency, I give the big guys, so I know that somehow some money arrives there, not bashing anyone. It's okay. The big organizations have their justification. They have the space, the size, the power. But then, on the other hand, you say, no, let's go to the smallest one because they have a higher impact. We are confused. And you are our partners. You come to our table and ask for money. Sorry, but that's what you do. Ask for our contribution, ask for involvement. Get organized. Also tell your boss, hey, there's another Amuta is doing similar stuff that we are doing. Why don't we collaborate? There is a lot of money to be raised. I know there's a lot of causes which are very important, but there's also a lot of donors. So let's share everything. Let's collaborate. Let's be on the same side of the table. Let's try to join forces. So if Schusterman, which has a bit more money than my foundation, has a good project, I don't need to create another school. I don't need to create another idea. I can go and piggy bank on him or take a ride with him. Let's try to collaborate.